Which NBA team has shown the most discrimination toward Asian players? Jeremy Lin once gave an unexpected answer. The Golden State Warriors. Because that's where he heard the most humiliating sentence of his career. We signed you because you're Chinese. You're just here to sell tickets. Rewind to the summer of 2010. Jeremy Lin went undrafted in the NBA draft. He then joined the Dallas Mavericks for Summer League, trying to earn a spot. His performance was solid enough to earn him a few contract offers. Eventually, the Golden State Warriors signed him to a 2-year deal. He became one of the first American-born Chinese players in the NBA. But inside the organization, the belief was never about basketball. It was about marketing, his Asian identity, his Harvard background. To them, it meant attention and ticket sales, not long-term value on the court. And behind closed doors, many didn't believe an Asian guard could truly compete in the NBA. Later, Lin would describe his year with the Warriors as the hardest period of his career. In one game, after he scored on a drive, a teammate shouted in an exaggerated tone, "You're so good." It sounded less like praise, more like disbelief, as if a Chinese player scoring in the NBA was still a novelty. The message underneath was clear. This wasn't normal. It was unexpected, and the disrespect didn't stop there. Most teammates never tried to understand him. Some even told him directly, "Just pass me the ball." So he did, quietly, obediently, without complaint. That season, he played only 29 games, averaging just 2.6 points. Eventually, he was sent down to the G League. When he came back, nothing changed. Soon after, the Warriors waived him. 3 days later, the Houston Rockets signed him. But the opportunity lasted only 2 weeks. On Christmas Eve, the Rockets cut him to make room for another player. He flew home that night, alone, on Christmas Eve. By late December, the New York Knicks signed him to a non-guaranteed contract. No security, no promises. A struggling team that had lost 11 of its first 13 games. Head coach Mike D'Antoni was under heavy pressure, with no stability of his own. He wasn't focused on a fringe player who might not even stay on the roster. During one practice, Lin cautiously asked him, "Should I ship my car from the West Coast?" D'Antoni heard it as almost absurd. The team was collapsing, his job was uncertain, and a non-guaranteed player was asking about logistics. He told Lin to wait. A polite answer, but a realistic one. No one expected him to last. No one expected him to matter. But basketball has a way of rewriting expectations. February 4th, 2012, at Madison Square Garden, the injury-hit Knicks were set to face the New Jersey Nets. Coach D'Antoni had almost no options left, so he made a simple decision. Throw Jeremy Lin into the game. No pressure, no expectations, just a desperate move in a broken rotation. What happened next would change everything. If there is one Asian player who represents the greatest underdog story in basketball history, it is Jeremy Lin, a guard who couldn't even land a guaranteed contract. At his lowest point, he had nowhere to stay, sleeping on a teammate's narrow couch. And yet, in the final hours of his NBA career, he wrote one of the most unbelievable scripts in sports history. Let's go back to 2012, the night before Linsanity was born. Jeremy Lin was at rock bottom, cut by both the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. The New York Knicks only picked him up because they desperately needed a roster body, signing him to a non-guaranteed deal. In his first game against the Boston Celtics, he looked lost. Turnovers, missed reads, no rhythm. The team already knew what they had, an undrafted guard who probably wouldn't last. That night, Lin was still staying at his brother's place, but guests came over unexpectedly, not wanting to disturb anyone. He asked teammate Landry Fields for help. Fields had no spare bed, so Lin ended up on a narrow couch in the living room. Hard, tight, uncomfortable. That night, sleep didn't come easily. He kept asking himself, why can't I make it in the league? Is this it? Will I be cut tomorrow? Will my NBA dream end before it even begins? But no one knew that the next night would change everything. February 4th, 2012, Madison Square Garden. The game began, and the Knicks were overwhelmed by the New Jersey Nets. Down double digits early. Then disaster struck. Starting point guard Amon Shumpert got into foul trouble and was forced out. Coach Mike D'Antoni had no answers left. Another loss could cost him his job. With no options remaining, he called in the last man on the bench, Jeremy Lin. The moment Lin stepped on the court, something changed. Pressure disappeared. He played free, like a man with nothing left to lose. He immediately started organizing the offense, driving to the rim, setting up teammates, scoring with confidence. The offense suddenly had structure. By halftime, Lin had 6 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. And the Knicks were back within reach, 46-48. Only 2 points down. In the third quarter, the battle tightened. And then came the moment. Lin drove straight at all-star point guard Deron Williams and finished through contact for an and one. No hesitation, no fear. By the end of the third quarter, he kept attacking, drawing fouls, and bringing the Knicks within 70-72. Then came the fourth quarter, and Jeremy Lin took over. Every possession ran through him. Every decision, every drive, every shot, controlled. He wasn't just playing anymore. He was leading when the final buzzer sounded. Knicks 99, Nets 92. Jeremy Lin finished with 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. The undrafted guard, who was hours away from being cut, had just turned a blowout loss into a breakout moment. But most people thought it was a fluke, a one-night story. Then came the next game, against the Utah Jazz. 28 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, a dominant win. Then Washington, 23 points, 10 assists, a triple stretch of wins. And Linsanity was born, averaging over 20 points per game. An unknown Asian guard suddenly became a national phenomenon. Next up, the Los Angeles Lakers. Before the game, reporters asked Kobe Bryant what he thought of Jeremy Lin. Kobe's answer was cold. I have no idea who that is. But after that night, Jeremy Lin's name was no longer unknown, even to Kobe Bryant.